I've been wondering lately, tell me if I'm wrong, but I listen to The Daily a lot, the New York Times with Michael Barbaro. And there are times, you know about this, Matt, but it's a suspicion. I'm a big fan of The Daily, and it's like a regular part of my day. And there are times where I swear to God, I listen to it, and I think that it's possible that they get someone talking for a while, and then afterwards in audio, they just have Michael Barbaro go, mm-hmm, uh-huh.
Huh.
And, they have a bank.
They have a bank, and it's occurred to me. And then basically they have him recap. So what happens is they get the person talking for a while, and he basically says, there was this, apparently this woman named Goldilocks who went in, and there were 3 bowls of porridge. And there was one that was too hot, and there was one that was too cold, but then there was one that was just right. So what you're saying is that this young girl, Goldilocks, went into a house that she had not been in before, and there were 3 bowls of porridge, one too hot, one too cold, and one just right. And which one did she choose? Well, good question. She chose the one that was just right. Yeah. Then she went into the next room, and there was a bed. There were 3 beds. One was too firm, one was too soft, and one was just right. So what you're saying is that then she went to another room, and there were 3 beds. One was too hard, one was too soft, and one was just right. Did she choose one of those beds? She did. Very good question. And it was the one that was just right. At any point, let me ask, did the bears come home? They did. They actually did come home. And that's what I was going to get to next. The 3 bears came home, and they found Goldilocks asleep in the bed. So what you're saying is that Goldilocks fell asleep in the bed, and the 3 bears came in, and they encountered Goldilocks. What happened then? Excellent question. They awoke Goldilocks. She was surprised, and she ran out the door, and she was never heard from again. Incredible. Okay, here's what else you need to know today. In Canada, a large vat of syrup exploded, flooding Oregon. We go now. I believe that's the general thing, and I'm feeling like I swear to God, I don't need to be here with the guests anymore. As much as I love it, I feel like you could let them just babble, and then send me little prompt questions, and I can finally live out my dream of living in one of those little ice fishing shacks, where they cut a hole in the ice. And I live there all alone, and I grow just a crazy beard.
Oh, do you know how to fish?
No, and I don't even like fishing, and I don't like the cold. But it's an image that I like, and that's what I'm going to do. And then every now and then I'm going to get on the phone, and Matt's going to say, all right, all you have to do is ask these 3 questions about Goldilocks, and you're off the hook. So what you're saying is that this blue bear, which is quite unusual, started out in Canada and then came down to Oregon. What does this mean? And then the person goes on and says, and the hammerhead sharks attacked the supermodels. Is that what you're saying?
Are you talking like Michael Barbaro now too?
I'm channeling him a little bit. He has that way. Here's what you need to know today. And that
he goes, here's what
to know today.
But he puts in 8 seconds.
Yes. Yeah. No, I have a game where when Michael Barbaro does the introduction, I try to see if I can make a tuna melt during the gap. So he goes, Michael Barbaro, The Daily, and I quickly run, and I get rye bread, I put it in the toaster, and I won't take you through the whole thing, but I've made most of a sandwich, and sometimes I've made the whole sandwich and eaten half of it before he says, what you need to know today.
That's good.
You could probably make up, Matt, a bunch of things, audio cues that you play almost like on a keyboard. And we could do a podcast where I'm just reacting. And I know you're going to sometimes screw me over because someone's going to say, it was really tough because that was the year I lost my father.
I think you should record a bunch of stuff you say often. Yeah, when I was at Saturday Night Live, I'm like Picasso, and you don't tell Michelangelo how to paint.
Look at this body.
Look at this body, or
When I say look at this body, it's usually with fear and sadness.
It's a threat.
It's more like if you don't behave, I'm going to take off my shirt, and then you're really going to see what 80-year-old Spam looks like. It's fresh out of the can.
My father just passed away. Look at this body.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that listening to The Daily gave me this idea that we could probably, I could spend a day, one full day giving you every single Conanism and every single human reaction. And then, God forbid, something ever happens to me, this podcast goes on in perpetuity. You sit there at a synthesizer and you just play, or not even something happens to me, I just become incredibly lazy and a hermit. So you just sit there, Matt, and they're like, "We have another episode. You know, who's on this time? Well, it's Marissa Tomei. Okay, get Marissa Tomei in a room and have her tell 5 stories, and you're just sitting there and you're playing like, oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, ha ha ha. Wow, that's rough. Murderer. Corn cob soup. I'm Picasso. Look at my body. I used to work on Saturday Night Live.
Cockaroo.
Cockaroo.
I could do that now. I could just take those sound bites from previous podcasts.
You could, but I want it to be a whole day in the studio.
Oh, okay.
I want it to cost a lot of money. I want it directed by a famous director.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. Your Camerons.
Kirk Cameron?
Yeah, Kirk Cameron.
Okay.
I want him to direct it. And also be my religious director. No, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but...
I think we could work that up.
I think we can make a whole podcast with you just never saying anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's a goal we should strive for.
Anyway, think about this.
Okay.
And then we could... I think start cranking out hundreds of episodes a week. That's another bonus.
I can't, but then I have to edit all that and put that all together.
What are you doing? Picking out a new weird tchotchke to have in the background of your Zoom shot?
Okay, sup with Camel.
No one has a bigger collection of straw hats from the turn of the century than Matthew Gourley.
Mike? Who's Mike?
He's the guy I'm going to replace you with. He's really great. We have one more meeting with him, Sax and I, and then he's on board. He's fantastic.
I wish him well.
Yeah. Mike Galaginski, fantastic guy.